Hi!
What have you got for us then?
Well, there's web and security. We've got web batch and security. Web and spring. Web security and spring. Web security integration and spring. Spring web integration and spring. Spring web spring batch and spring. Spring security. Spring batch. Spring integration and spring. Spring web and spring. Spring batch. Spring and spring. Or a rich domain model with transparent persistence served in a DDD manner with security and web garnished with a flow repository, web services and a view layer on top, and spring.
Have you got anything without spring?
Well, there's spring web security and spring. That's not got much spring in it.
I don't want any spring!
Why can't she have web batch spring and security?
That's got spring in it.
Hasn't got as much spring in it as spring web security and spring.
Could you do the web batch spring and security without spring? What do you mean? I don't like spring!
Calm down, dear. Don't make a fuss. I'll have your spring. I love it. I'm having spring, batch, and spring.
Shut up! Shut up! Bloody Vikings! You can't have web batch spring and security without the spring!
I don't like spring!
I said, I'll have your spring. I love it. I'm having spring, batch, and spring.
Shut up! Batch is off!
Well, can I have her spring instead then?
You mean spring?
Spring, wonderful spring, lovely spring,
Wonderful spring.
Thank you to Mark Pollack, guest appearance as Rob's wife.